So, here we find ourselves at the FRL racing server, a Sunday night Nürburgring Grand Prix. We have 2 minutes of qualifying remaining. JR lock and load as in pole positions, well on 54.984. Closely followed by Laley 9 and whatever the other guy said, Rashid. Getting there, son. Third place. It's only a Pro-Am as well. Punching above his weight, Cooper. What do you think?
I completely agree with you.
Thanks for the input.
Looks very chilly out there. By the way, I've just had a notification, anyone that is watching this, that Timmy Blunder is live.
That's right.
PS4 broadcast right now. Well done.
Yeah, it's my first time trying to commentate on a race. I'm joined with my distinguished partner, RSR Cooper.
Thank you very much.
How's your day been?
Very good, mate. Very good. We had a good race earlier on in another league, and yeah, we thought we'd watch these guys because FRL, they do lots of racing. Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays. They have a break on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So it's always keep you busy.
Yep.
And you can buy merch.
You can indeed. Yeah, it's a good setup. Buy merch. Did I see somebody buy some merch earlier with FRL's their own name on, like their racing name on? Is that right?
Their name, number, and team, and FRL colours. Yeah, it all looks pretty good.
Yeah, check out the FRL merch. It's it looked good.
And mention Timmy, and not Tommy. Timmy.
Yeah, Timmy. Yeah. No, he was that FRL? No, that was DTR, wasn't it?
That was another league. Yeah.
Yes, the name's not Tommy, by the way. It's Timmy.
Yeah. And if you want to catch Timmy racing, Taco Tuesdays.
Well, basically, it's Team RSR, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
So anyway, what we got is 15 seconds left. Lock and load is still. He's parked it.
Yeah, it's a good margin. That
can do anything. Yep.
The first two guys appear to be away, but it's very tight in the midfield there.
We've got 1.9 to 2, 2.1. Yep, it is. That could be funny to turn one.
It could indeed. So, I'm not sure how long is this race actually?
Half an hour. So we have a half an hour sprint race.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a pit stop. They have to do a mandatory stop. They don't have to fuel, but they do need to change tyres. So it will be interesting to see if we have anyone ducking in early or hanging it out until the last lap or two. What would you do in that position to me?
Well, I guess it really depends whereabouts you are on the grid and how the first couple of laps pan out for you. You know, if you're up the front and you have a bit of an off and you find yourself near the back, then I'd probably go for an early splash and dash. Try and make some time with some clear track.
Yeah.
At the front, I'd probably be looking to go the other way. What about yourself?
Me, well, I'll probably be the one in the middle. So I don't know. As you say, it would depend because we don't know. There might be some rain yet. There doesn't look like there is at the moment, but there may be some rain, which could make it interesting for setups.
Yeah, it's a very cold track at the moment. Conditions are reasonably fast. Not opty, but it's definitely not a green track. I'm looking forward to this one.
Well, first one of the season. Everybody's going to be, they're going to be full of excitement and nerves, aren't they? At the end of the day, everyone pretty much, well, I wouldn't say everybody, but there's a lot of people in FRL who've been racing for many years. There's a lot of intermediate guys and there's a lot of newbies that have got into sim racing. So,
you've got
there are levels for everyone.
Joseph T. Rowe there, looks like our highest amateur, 1.9 seconds off the lead, pace-wise.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, one other amateur in there, Unknown Elder.
And exactly, look, you've got a gamer dad and you've got an elder. So they're not all 18-year-olds who are, trying to be really fast, are they?
That's right. Perhaps they're all old and fat and sweaty just like me.
Photos will follow, yeah.
Yeah.
Good, yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. So format, what we got? A 30 minutes. So it's quite interesting with the GT Sundays. It's a 14 race calendar. So, you know, you've got to commit to that and take you up to Christmas. It's 2 30-minute sprint races, but the interesting one is it's a 7-minute qualifying between race 1 and 2. So, you know, if you don't get your iron during the first race, which hopefully you would do with practice and qualifying, you get a second shot at it. Whereas the races that we do, you've got qualifying and you bang into an hour or 2 hour race, aren't you?
Okay.
That's a nice colourful grid, isn't it? Oh, that
It
guy
is
in the
indeed,
back
yeah.
waving a purple flag.
Yeah.
So we've got Dal and Crazies who are flying the BMW flag. Home race for them. But the Bentleys are doing a pretty good job at the top, aren't they? Do you think
They
the
are
Bentley
good.
suit this track?
I do find the Bentley is quite a good car around this track. Yes. What sort of pole time they're setting here, even in the Bentley, that's a good time for the Bentley. I can't remember what it actually finished at, but I saw it was 55.2 earlier on, or 155.2. That is moving for the Bentley.
Why do you think that suits them? Is it long wheelbase? Is it the weight transfer? What do you think?
Well, I think it's the Nürburgring's it's a medium speed kind of sweeping circuit. You know, the Bentley's got very good mid-range punch. You know, not the best traction out the corners, and top speed isn't necessarily the best either. So this sort of setup, this sort of track suits the strengths of the Bentley more so than a lot.
Yeah. Let's see if that carries on then. You can see there's a lot of teams, a lot of team liveries there. That's the good thing with FRL. You know, you can buddy up with somebody. If you're new to sim racing, you know, everyone in there will give you a hand. You can buddy up with someone. You can learn, or you could bring a mate like me and this idiot I'm talking with. We race together. Well, say race in inverted commas.
Throw it off the track together, more like.
Yeah, exactly. And chat about racing. But anyway, 13 seconds, so here we go. Do you know if we have a full lap on this one, or is it? I don't think it is.
Well, I'm looking at where they're formed up on the grid. I suggest it is a full warm-up lap, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it must be from here. Obviously, they'd be starting at the end of the back straight otherwise.
True enough. Well observed. Good. So if anyone isn't familiar with GT3 cars, obviously they're becoming more and more popular. How important, you know, we all watch F1 cars weaving around and try not to lose it and make a fool of themselves, but if people aren't aware, you know, do you think ACC is good in terms of the tyre dynamics? You know, do you really need to warm them up, or can you just potter along, or, you know, is that going to make much of a difference, do you think?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yeah, it's very realistic in that respect. I think they made some good improvements recently in some updates. But yeah, the tyre dynamics are very realistic for me. You know, too much sliding, you overheat tyres. You know, understeer the same. You know, you got to work sometimes when the temperature changes in the track. You've got to work to keep the tyres at the right temperature. You know, sometimes you have to back off to go faster. You know, just if your tyres are starting to overheat. So there's all sorts of different connotations and things to think about with that sort of thing.
Well, let's see who has managed to dial in their tyres for this and who hasn't. Although only being a 30-minute sprint, you wouldn't think it would have that much of an effect, but you know, what different, you know, I suppose you could have a difference of a couple of seconds or more, really, couldn't you? It's going to make the whole car handle differently.
Yeah, some cars change. You know, I find the Ferrari becomes very oversteery when its tyres aren't in the window. Becomes a bit more skittish, and it's generally a lively car anyway. That's one of the benefits of the Bentley, especially around circuits like this. It's a very stable car. It's very planted in most conditions, so it's less on a knife edge.
Yeah. More consistently predictable then.
Yes, it's a very good car. I mean, it's a fast car, and if you know how to drive it well, you can get some very good times out of it in most circuits. But it makes it a lot more user-friendly, especially if you're new to GT3 racing. It's a very good car to start with.
Good.
So here we go, down the back straight. Just making our way round to the start of the race. Everybody should start to form up now.
Right then. Let's see what these reaction times are like.
Green light, go, go, go.
And here we go. Alright, let's go to the leader, shall we, for this first corner?
Yep.
Let's see what we're going to... So he's backed out of this by the look of it. Or got a very bad run.
Yeah,
Lost a couple of places. Oh, and there's a crash behind us. One of the GTRs has gone off into the wall. Looks like there was contact there. Okay, everybody else looks to be clean. So not the best start here.
Right.
Still, got plenty of time to kind of settle down, get himself into the rhythm, try and work his way back through the field. So not the best start there for Lock and Load.
No, I'm just having a quick look at FRL J.A. Williams in the Audi, number 41. That's a pretty nice livery. He's mid-pack at the moment. He's having a fight with Chica and Mr. Error. Let's hope that's not correct. There we go.
So Rashid... so where we got now? So
that was a timing issue on that.
yeah, indeed. Oh, and the McLaren goes wide there at the hairpin, just gets it in the gravel, managed to hold on to it.
Yeah, that was the highest placed amateur in there as well.
Yeah, he was indeed.
Probably needs just to keep a little calmer. Might be a bit nerve-wracking first race of the season.
So Lely is out in front at the moment in the Bentley, followed by Tugberg in the Porsche. We've raced Tugberg before, I believe, Cooper.
We have, yeah, we have. Yeah, strong driver, and Porsche goes well around here. If the driver can handle it, which...
Yes, again, it's a bit like the Ferrari. It's very on a knife edge, very kind of skittish kind of car. But you can get some extremely good lap times out of it if you know how to drive it.
Yeah.
So here we go, starting lap 2. Yeah, that
Yeah.
probably makes two of us, to be fair.
Yeah, I normally drive the safety car for anyone that's interested, so it's an easy one. Yeah, anyway, so Lely's pulled a second on him, and where are we close down the field? So everyone's fairly close at the moment.
So 5th and 6th are very close together, and 7th, Rashid just making a bit of a recovery there by the look of it. So FRL Gamer in 5th. He looks like he's starting to stretch away from the people behind him again and making ground on DJ Clark ahead of him.
Yeah. And don't forget Crazies as well. I mean, he's a 4-season winner, isn't he? So I'm expecting some good things out of him this season. Whether this is his normal car, he's in the Beamer, I don't know. Don't know if he's chose a different car for this season, but we'll see.
So I was looking at Rashid there, so I think he's just made a move. We've just missed that move. Gone past the Audi, I believe, or is he... Yeah, it's very close up, catching the BMW in front of him, of Crazies, as you say. Is Crazies going to pull him through? Because he looks like he's making moves up the field, is he not?
He does, yeah, and lock and load is all over the back of Tugbert at the moment.
Yeah, it's getting
Just a
towed down the
tenth
back
behind
straight.
him, yep.
Yeah,
Is he gonna dive one into the chicane?
there's defensive line there.
Whoa,
Oof.
whoa, whoa.
Showed his nose there. Trying to force a mistake out of Tugbert, who's found himself in second place and going extremely well,
Yeah,
but having to defend hard.
Straight lines that.
And it's gone wide, so it's a straight drag down the straight. Say Bentley's good mid punch, but has that Porsche got the legs towards the end of the straight? Doesn't look like it.
No, but the Porsche should get a better acceleration if he backs off a little bit. Should get a good turn out of that. Let's see what he can do.
So lock and load's clean through the hairpin, and that's exposed Tugbert to manoeuvres from DJ Clark in the Mercedes, who's now up the inside as well, going for a move.
Yeah.
So you've got FRL gamer Dad, who's just kind of sitting there just behind them, just in case something goes wrong, and to make the most of the pieces, if you like.
Yeah.
Some very close racing here towards the front. Sorry, go ahead, Cooper.
It looks like Crazy's actually has dropped a place to Ratchet and the Bentley, so I thought he was making some moves, but he's actually dropped a place on that one. And Williams is coming back at him in the Audi. He's only 4 tenths back, so that middle pack of the top bunch is it's all pretty close then. Only going to be one mistake, and someone's going to get a free pass.
So Tugbert's got DJ Clark right up behind him, only a tenth behind. They're going through the Schumachers. Is he trying to get a run? Can he get a run on him or not? So it looks like Tugbert's defending the inside line. Misses the apex slightly, but appears to be still there. Yeah, indeed he has. He's kept it, and now just exiting into the back straight there. There's some exciting stuff.
While all this is going on, Lenny he's gone because they're all holding each other up. So he's nearly 4 seconds clear of lock and load now, and he's managed to obviously break away from Tugbert quite a bit as well at the moment. So those bunch are all holding each other up, squabbling. DJ
Clark made the move into the chicane, but he went deeper across the gravel, having to defend the line into the main straight. Managed to do so. Tugbert's in his track still.
This is why you've got to love GT3 racing. You know, it doesn't matter whether we're looking at sort of from an esports point of view or in real life. You know, the BOPs, the cars, they're all competitive. It's close action. You know, you've got to have your wits about you at all times, and well, people are benefiting from that, and others will be sweating right now, I think, in their chairs. Yeah,
it's very good. It's always close racing in the GTs. I mean, it's a little bit like senior touring cars, you know, bit tin top action, you know, a little bit closer racing you get in the single seaters. Obviously, the cars aren't quite as highly strung, which makes for good racing.
Yeah.
So we've got DJ Clark, who's trying to break away from Tugbert behind him, and appears to be doing a good job of it at this moment in time. So he's now trying to track down lock and load in first place, so we'll keep an eye on how he goes from here.
Yeah, just a word on what's going on further down the grid. So we're 8 minutes in. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 in the pits at the moment. Now I'm assuming that's not for damage, so they're probably taking their early tyre stops to try and make up some time, which isn't a bad thing to do if everyone else is squabbling. Get out in some clear air, as you were saying at the top of the show. Might be able to make up some time that way.
Yeah, I didn't notice if anybody particularly from the front end has lost a lot of places. Whether there's anybody from the front that's taking advantage of that or not, doesn't appear to, does it?
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure if Chica was quite high up the grid at the start.
Yeah, you've got FRL gamer Dad, he's very close to Tugbert. Tugbert 4th and FRL gamer Dad in 5th. Only 2 tenths behind him.
Yeah.
And again, main straight. See, this is where you'd expect that GTR to be reeling in the Porsche. You know, very powerful car in a straight line, the GTR, but doesn't quite have the legs to get past him.
No, but maybe he's running that Porsche in a bit more of a slippery mode.
So what else have we got going on? You've got Crazy's obviously taking a breath and getting back into the swing. He's only 0.4 behind J. Williams, or J.A. Williams, should I say. So they seem to be going well right now.
Oh, we've got a stop and go Vortex Racing. That's probably for.
Track
he was
limits,
just in the
would you
pits.
say?
No, he was just in the pits. So he's
Speeding,
probably
possibly.
speeding in the pit lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlucky there. So we've got,
So
guys,
you've
we'll
got
be 4 laps in.
Unknown Alder, the amateur in the Audi in the middle of the field, 11th place, is half a second behind Tarek Tornado.
That is a good name. I like that name. Tarek Tornado. He should be quick.
Unknown Alder 90s car looks like it's very much been in the wars. Oh, and he's got a bit of a tank slapper going on out the hairpin there, but manages to hold on to it. So yeah, some decent battles going on all through the field.
Yeah, how much do you think, or what kind of time gap do we need to actually get an advantage from a slip? So, because if you look down the timing, some people are 9/10 behind, half a second behind. When are people going to start benefiting from a slipstream?
Yeah, you want to be within half a second realistically to get anything worth talking about as a slip out of these sort of cars. Anything over that, and you're talking next to nothing in a straight line. Oh, and just as I look at him, it looks like Unknown Alder 90's just got it all sideways out the chicane and off circuit. Seems to have lost concentration because then he's just hit the Armco barrier coming into the last corner onto the main straight. So he's having a bit of a torrid time right at this moment. So we'll see if he can recover and get back within half a second of Tarek Tornado.
Yeah, wow. That's unfortunate. It's frustrating when that happens in a race because you're trying so hard and you might make a tiny little error and then you're probably working too hard to make that back. But I'm sure we'll get back on it. Crazy's
I've just gone to him.
Yeah, and me too. He's only half a second behind J.A. Williams. And these two, I'm sure, are going to have a nice fun battle. They know each other pretty well.
We've also got Marpat back down in 13th place, only half a second behind FRL Darren Mark. So he seems to be trying to make some moves, so we'll keep an eye on what happens with that. Crazy, he's just gone wide. Sorry.
Has he? Because Rashid's only 4/10 behind Gamerdad, so there seems to be... someone's gone off there. I didn't see who that was. I think Gamerdad's just threw it off. I saw one of the GTRs on the gravel there, so we'll see if the timing changes on that.
No, Gamerdad seems to be in one piece still. Dropped back a little bit, but... But yeah, I think at the moment, Gamerdad and Rashid was the closest battle on circuit at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, they have switched places actually. So Rashid does find himself in front of Gamerdad. So obviously the error coming from Gamerdad has allowed Rashid to get past. Let's see if he can hold on to that.
Yeah. So Lely's got a pretty comfortable lead, 3.1, and from lock and load, and then we've got a big gap back then to DJ Clark SP and the Mercedes, which, I mean, the Mercedes is normally a very strong run around this track, I think, in the time that I've raced here, but I don't know, maybe he's had an error, or maybe the other two Bentleys are just on it.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't said much about Lely 9, but obviously hasn't put a foot wrong so far, having a nice smooth drive out front. Like I say, the Bentley's a nice stable car, stable platform. It's not likely to bite you, so if you can find yourself out in front like he is, it's very easy to keep the rhythm with this car, so there's every chance that he can just hold this lead for the rest of the race, but we'll see how it pans out. Just as I say that, it appears that Lock and Load has taken about half a second out of him this lap so far.
Okay. It is interesting, even though it's a 30-minute race, some people might have elected to fuel to the end and just stop for tyres. Others might have elected, because there isn't really, from our experience, there's not really that much difference in time, whether you fuel or not. It's usually around 30 seconds for tyres and fuel, or 30 seconds for tyres, isn't it? So
yeah, certainly for sprint racing stuff. Obviously, when you're doing endurance stuff, a couple of hours long before you go between pit stops, then obviously it makes a difference. But in sprint racing, not so much.
No. Rashid's made another move on Tugberg. So it looks like maybe Gamerdad was holding him up a little bit, because that's, you know, he's made some good time on him and he's passed him already. Let's see if he can catch Clark. Oh, he's coming into the pits, Rashid. That's okay. He's coming in for his pit stop. Crazies is still half a second behind J.A. Williams. He's probably trying to get his safety up.
No, that's the sort of thing we need to do.
Well, yeah. Well, that's, yeah. Chica's 2 laps down, unfortunately, which is a shame, but he's still going for it, which is good.
Yeah, so everybody in the top 13 is yet to pit. I think who has just come into the pits?
Rashid's just come in, and so has Williams, and so has
Lock and Load.
Yeah, Gamerdad's in, Williams is in.
Yeah, there's a lot of people just come in on this lap.
Hutch, yeah. So we're the halfway point of the race, aren't we?
Yeah, so we've got 6 people in the pits right now. So that's basically half of the top 12, 13 people. Everybody 14th and below has already pitted, so we'll see whether the early stop has helped any of them or not.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be interesting then. So Lely and Lock and Load. Someone's lost it there. Lock and Load's gone off the track. I think there was a back marker in front of him that spun, and that's going to cost him. Yeah,
because he actually taken another half a second out of Lely since we'd last spoken until this point.
Yeah.
So that's a real shame if that's what's happened there.
Yeah.
So again, Crazies is the closest battle on track right now. You've got second and a half separating 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th.
Yeah, that could be good if they all close up.
What?
So we've got 8 laps done at the moment. So 2 Burks is 2.9 off Clark. See if that goes down a bit, and then obviously we're quite chunky with our gaps in terms of people doing their pit stops, then, aren't we? So
yeah, again, well, our top 7 haven't pitted still yet, so they're pushing deep into the race here. Is that the right call? So Tugbert goes into the pits from 4th place. So first of our real leaders to blink, if you like, and followed by Tariq Tornado, who's also gone into the pits.
Yeah, well, I think Tariq's doing quite well out of this at the moment, because he was, sort of mid-pack, just behind the mid-pack, so he's run a bit longer. And let's see if he's managed to put in a decent lap or two and cleaner air to come out, maybe in the middle of that FRL, Crazies, Williams and Hutch and Darren battle. So the FRL boys are all together, aren't they? It's nice.
Yeah.
And Harrison moving out the way there, good. Keeping his awareness in terms of blue flags and where the leaders are. No point in holding people up too much.
So Rashid is right on the tail of Gamerdad. He's a 10th behind coming into the final corner and has a tighter line. It's up the inside. It's a Bentley versus GTR drag race, and GTR just comes out the corner again. That's what I was saying about the traction of the Bentley. It just doesn't quite have the traction out the slower corners.
Right.
It's into the braking zone at the first hairpin, or first corner.
This is tight.
GTR sweeps across the front, keeps the lead, keeps the head.
A bit of paint traded there.
See, these guys fighting here could cost them time in the actual race itself and push them away from the leaders. At this stage of the race. I really thought he'd gone into the wall then for a moment.
Yeah, I think he's on the accelerator a little bit too quickly there.
Yeah, so Rashid giving it way too much throttle out there. I think that's getting a bit over-adventurous in the chase. Let's see, we'll keep an eye on that gap and see if he can close that back down again, but obviously fighting each other is costing them time at this moment.
Yeah, I think the only other sort of real battle of note at the moment is again Crazies and Williams, but it looks like Crazies is letting Joey Williams get his safety up now, because those two have been stuck together like glue,
haven't they? Just it's been nip and tuck between the pair of them, like you say, for the whole race. And again, they're coming into Schumachers, a pair of them.
Sorry. The concentration level that you need to race that closely is it's intense, isn't it? It's not just
Well, they find themselves up in 7th and 8th. You know, that's definitely an improvement for Crazy as well. I forget where did he start now, but he's definitely up a couple of places, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, heading towards
Tarek, Tarek was smart. He's now 9th after his pit stop, so he has slotted in right in the middle of that four-way battle as I predicted. So he's probably net gained 4 places out of that. So well done, you, mate.
Yeah, so we're coming into the last third of the race.
Clark's got DJ Clark in third's got a stop go, so that's got to be track limits because he wasn't in the pits. But then track limits, you wouldn't get a stop and go.
Well, he's just through the first corner. Like I say, I didn't note that he was in the pit. So, as you say, is that track limits? That's such a shame because he's had such a great race so far.
Yep.
You know, he's been keeping out of trouble. Yeah.
And the thing is, Lenny hasn't pitted either, so he could have been in with a good shout of. I mean, you never know what could have happened there, but that's unfortunate. But he should still come out. He'll still come out third, but he might not come out third in terms of the run in and out of the pits. But
yeah, he's kept himself clean the entire race. You know, not got into any trouble, avoided all the excitement, if you like, for the rest of the race, and unfortunately, he's found himself with a stop go.
Well, that is unfortunate. If we go down the grid, our man 73, Joseph Throw 73, he's 1/10 behind Mr. Error, and these guys have been together for most of the race, fairly close.
Yeah.
And let's see if our amateur guy can make a move, and let's see what Mr. Error can do as well.
So we're on board right now. Yeah. It's a close run again. Just so many areas of this circuit where that Bentley has good, you know, mid-speed, mid-corner traction.
Yeah.
He's run a bit deep there though. Cut back. Just gone wide and taken some gravel. But obviously this is not an overtaking place, so unfortunately Joseph's going to have to sit behind, I would suggest.
Yeah, I mean that McLaren's pretty aero dependent as well, isn't it? And I think if you know, if you're who's got a 30-second stop and go. Okay, that's DJ Clark still. Okay.
Just confirmation of what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think Joseph needs to be brave. He needs to sit there because that Bentley, you know, when you get the acceleration points on the track, there aren't many things that can punch their way past it, as you say, because it's not a huge. There's no massive straights really.
Yeah, there's no really obvious places, but you know, the problem being is that the one place where the Bentley really suffers traction out the hairpin, it's a short run up the hill to the Schumachers, and obviously there's no chance, unless there's a mistake, of course, of going past through the Schumachers, and that's the last place you want to be side by side.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks, in actual fact, it looks like Mr. Error's pulled. He's nearly a second ahead, and he's now only half a second behind FRL Darren Mark, so it looks like he's going the opposite way at the moment, which is good for him, obviously. Where else are we? Yeah,
so J.A. Williams again, 0.6 behind Crazies, been stuck together. You know, that at some point he's got to make a move, surely.
Well, we've got 8 minutes left of the race. There's been a change of lead because Lenny's been in the pits, and Lock and Load's obviously punched in a good lap or two because he's 1.2 ahead at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see, given the relative pace, you would think Lely would be able to come back at him, but it will be gradual. So what we got 7
minutes 40,
3-4 laps. So within 3 or 4 laps, they could be right together.
Yeah, he's lost some time again, yeah, he's lost some time again though. He's lost half a second to now. He's now 1.7 seconds behind, so maybe Lock and Load finds him at this stage of the race with good tyre pressures, heat in the tyres. You know, maybe Lely's aren't quite where they should be and he's off the pace, because you wouldn't expect him necessarily to be pulling at this stage of the race, but he is.
But I think he's only just been into the pits a lap or two ago, so maybe his tyres are still warming up a little bit. You know, maybe he had a slight off, or who knows? But I think he needs to make an indent in this lap to start putting some pressure on him. But he's got to keep an eye behind him as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, this is the problem.
There, isn't he?
Yeah, so Tug Burke is actually closer to him now than he is to Lock and Load. You know, Tug Burke needs to find himself half a second to be in the slipstream window. Like you say, unfortunately, it's the Bentley with great mid-speed traction with no long straights, but you know, if he can get himself close enough and put pressure on Lely, you never know, he could make a mistake and capitalise. You know, just put your nose out and make them think twice about whether you're going for a move and get them defending the line where they didn't need to. You know, slow them down. All sorts of tactics you can try and use to prise the door open, as it were.
Yeah, I agree, and I definitely think Lely's more concerned with his rear view mirror than what's in front of him, because he's lost another half a second to lock and load, which means he's lost 2 to 3 tenths to Tugberg. And you've got to think, it's the first race of the season. I know we've got double headers, but it's the first race of the season. You know, everyone's excited. They've done the practice, they've thought about the strategy, they've done the qualifying, and they're now sitting there going, well, we're 1, 2 and 3. DJ Clark in 4th has got to do his stop and go, so they don't really need to worry about that. Are they going to be content with just finishing as they are?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. You know, it's very early in the season. Like you say, it's like, is now the time to be thinking about the championship, or are you just going for it right now? You know.
Well, what would you do?
Well, you know, as I'm sure you know, I'm a bit gung-ho, so I would be going for it.
And I would be keeping those points in my pocket.
Good. Yeah.
He's only a second behind Lely now. I think Lely's got to... I don't know. Lely's got to think about this. But so that could be interesting in the next 5 minutes. Down the grid, what we got? Crazies is a second and a half ahead of Williams now.
So you got Hutch, who's 6 tenths behind Tarek right at the moment. We haven't really spoken about Hutch, so I'm just going to jump on board in the Audi. Yeah, this looks like it could be a good battle right now.
Yeah, because Tarek's not going to want to give that up. I mean, he's worked pretty smart to get into that position, isn't he? So
it looks like
you've got experience in the Ferrari, so you know she's not a bad car around this track.
Yeah, you can. She's definitely capable of the same sort of times that the Bentley guys were setting for pole, if you can get the setup right. But that is the key thing with the Ferrari. It's a difficult car to get right. You know, she's very twitchy. She doesn't like the curbs. The back end will slide on you if you haven't got your tyres perfectly set up in terms of tyre pressures, etc., and the rear suspension. You can get lift off oversteer. So she can be a difficult car to drive. That's a very good question. The answer to the question is, if you can get the setup right, then she's an extremely fast car.
Don't tell everyone that. Yeah, but yes, that's right. Okay, so DJ Clark's done his stop and go, and he's just going to be pretty annoyed with that because he's down in 12th, as everyone else is still coming through. Poor chap. Yeah, so Tarek's pulled a bit there. He's 6 tenths up now. And Joseph Troe has got ahead of Mr. Error. Look at that.
Yeah.
He's 4 tenths ahead of him. Well done.
Yeah, I'm just going to go on board there and see if it looks like he's got the additional pace or whether it's an error. Sorry.
There's a very close battle at the back. It's only 1 tenth in it between 3 cars at the back. Dell, BRG, Marpat and Chica, they're all within sort of 2-3 tenths of each other, which could be exciting or scary.
Yeah, so Marpat looks like he's been in a bit of the wars there. Yeah, front of the car's looking decidedly tired.
So I think we'll get another lap in then. Definitely get another lap in, maybe 2. I think... I'm not going to say it, no, we're not going to get into all that, but it's been a good drive so far from Lock and Load. That's looking positive.
Hutch has got himself down to 0.2 of a second. So he is right on Tarek Tornado, putting the pressure on with only 2 laps to go, maybe this lap and another lap. So
you know, he is all over him.
Yeah, he's got to stick his nose out there and make Tarek
Hutch's
think
car.
twice. Yeah,
look at Hutch's car, man.
That must be a handful right now. I'm sure. You know, all the more impressive that he's fighting in the top 10 and trying to chase down Tarek at this stage of the race.
Yeah.
He seems to be taking some good lines. The hairpin was nice and clean. Going up to the Schumachers. Sweep through there. Avoiding that left-hand curb, which is the one that really unsettles the Ferrari. You must avoid that. like the plague in that Ferrari. He really does not
Yeah.
like that inside curb at the Schumachers.
So, boys, do keep an eye on this, which is on JR Lock and Load is on his final lap. If he keeps that clean and tidy, should be good. I think we should stay with Hutch and Tornado, to be honest. I think they are.
Yeah.
This is going to be. I hope it isn't a last corner lunge that ends in tears, but.
Yeah, they've been racing very clean so far. It's been close racing.
Yeah.
So.
But this is for points as well, isn't it? So, you know, any points you can get, it all counts towards the end. So, let's see what happens. Last lap for them then. And Lock and Load is coming down. Where is he? He's coming down to the hairpin. He's halfway around.
Well, half a lap to go for Lock and Load. Just needs to bring it home now. So Tarek seems to have the measure of Hutch right now, so he's pulled a gap. He's nearly 0.6 of a second.
Yeah. Unless Hutch can get a good run down the back end.
Yeah, so you keep an eye on that. I'm going to go on with Lock and Load. Obviously, it's the last few corners of his race. Seems to be driving nice and smooth, keeping it clean. Unfortunately for Lely, the second half of the race just didn't seem to have an answer to the pace. So it looks like Lock and Load's stretched a lead to 2 or 3 seconds, and has just been driving consistently and pegging that gap.
And we're still where we are. It's 0.6 now. So I think, barring an error, Tarek's done a pretty good job there of building and holding that gap.
Yeah, so Lock and Load's coming across the start-finish line, takes the win. Lely 9 comes in second place, and it looks very much like it's going to be Tug Burke to take third, who's coming across the line right now. So that's your top 3. Lock and Load takes the win, Lely 9 in second place, and Tug Burke rounds out the podium positions.
Excellent. Okay, so that's. And we've got Gamerdad, Rashid, Crazies, Williams.
So both Rashid and Crazies have made some moves towards the end there, 5th and 6th. That's excellent work from the pair of them.
It is, and considering they've both spent the entire race within, I mean, that's probably the biggest the gap's been at 0.8, within half a second of each other for the entire race is testament to safe, smart driving, really. Yeah,
it was an extremely exciting race there. Some good battles all the way down the field. So that's RSR Timmy Blunder and RSR Cooper for your commentary, and we look forward to the next one.
Yeah, indeed. See you next time, guys and girls.
Bye all.